Hello and welcome to this week's Pubcast. This week is episode 42. We're here again with another special guest. This week, fortunately for all of us, he brings the average age down of the Pubcast considerably, which is a bonus. He's a fantastic photographer, fantastic vlogger. Really pleased to welcome Owen Clarke. So hello, Owen.
Good evening, gents. How's it going? All right.
Hello.
You ID'd me to get in, didn't you? You had to make sure I was
Yeah.
the legitimate age to share a beer.
He looks so young. He looks so young, too young to be drinking.
Well,
There you go. So how are you, mate? You good?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me. Actually, it's good to be on here.
More than welcome, mate. More than welcome. So, what have you been up to? Anything exciting? Have you been out and about, or are you? Get you into trouble before we've even started.
I've been out once with my camera, so actually picking the photo today was exceptionally easy because I didn't have many to pick through. But no, I guess I've just been enjoying rekindling my love for, as you'll see behind me, for the guitar and the music. So I used to do a lot of music when I was younger, and just knocked it on the head. So not being able to go anywhere is actually allowed. No, thank you, James. So not being able to go anywhere has actually allowed me to, he's given me a creative focus.
Yeah,
that's been one of the benefits, hasn't it, with like lockdown in a lot of ways, that it's let you focus on things that normally you don't have enough time to focus on.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I don't know, I find because we can't go out and do photography, I'm a bit one of those people. I've really put it to the side and not forgotten about it, but I'm a bit OCD, and I obsess over things. So when I get into something, I put everything into it. So it was quite nice to do something else. I've still got about 7 issues of outdoor photography still in the wrapper, waiting for to be unleashed and
really?
to find. Yeah, it's a strange thing because some people may think maybe you're not enjoying it as much, or you're not. You're not. Maybe they doubt your love for your commitment for it. But for me, it was quite nice to. I can't do it. I'll get really annoyed about it if I keep thinking about it. So I've just sort of pushed it to the side.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder, as they say.
Apparently so.
It does indeed. Yeah, it does indeed. And especially after Monday's announcement, it's
exactly,
yeah. Can't
We're
wait.
going to talk about that, I think, aren't we? We're going to have a bit of a chat. Yeah, we're going to have a chat about Monday's announcement, because I don't know about you guys. Well, I do know about a couple of you guys, even if you won't admit to it. There's a little bit of a tear, in the eye when Boris was saying about the roadmap out. It was weirdly emotional, wasn't it?
It was very strange.
Big weight off your shoulders, wasn't it? Big relief. Finally.
What I kind of noticed on that speech, and I listened to it driving home, and what was the word that he kept using? Irreversible, wasn't it? I think that was the word that he kept using. So basically, once we get to stage 2, whether that is 5 weeks after stage 1, but once we get to stage 2, there is no going back to stage 1, and then between 2 and 3, hopefully be 5 weeks. It might be a bit longer, but again, once we get to stage 3, there is no kind of going back, unless some kind of hideous kind of variation emerges. But he was quite clear, and he kept using that kind of irreversible, kind of phrase, that word, as if to say, look, well, once we get to tier 4, level 4 or stage 4, that is it. We're out of the woods for good or for bad.
Like herpes, no turning back.
Yeah. Gonorrhea are the days.
Do you not find it a bit annoying though? Like this? No, I mean it's a fantastic news. I'm so happy about it. But do you not find it annoying that politicians think we're so stupid that if they keep using the same phrases over and over again, we'll go for it?
The same what over and over? Sorry,
the same phrases like build back better and data not dates, and all of this stuff, and people just lap it up. And it's like, I just look and go, can you just say something else? Can you actually answer the question instead of just giving me key phrases that you want to put out all the time?
Yeah, rehearse sound bites. Yeah, but anyway, it is what it is.
I wouldn't say people lap it up. A lot of people just don't take it too seriously, to be honest. Especially
I just find it really annoying. Really annoying when you try and ask someone a question and all you get back is some soundbite that they want you to hear.
Have you heard the questions though? How annoying questions. You just go through a presentation and it's just absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
Well, from the media. Yeah.
How are you anyway, Dave? What's the story?
I'm all right. No, it doesn't bother me because I don't listen to any of it.
No,
I haven't heard
right.
it. I haven't heard the speech. I've watched zero news all week.
You're not an Orthodox Jew, are you? You
You
do have TV and media, don't you? You don't just like...
That's not an Orthodox Jew.
I've been watching Undercover Billionaire. It's brilliant.
Oh, right, okay.
But that's it.
Right.
Yeah, no, I used to do a lot of work in Stamford Hill for the Orthodox Jews, and they live in their own little world, and they only
They
really
do.
find
I've got
something
clients
out.
there, just off the crossroads on the A10. And when I go and visit
Yes,
them,
that's
it's
it.
another world.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Is it a Jewish area in London where they've got the highest infection rates as well?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their own little world, I suppose.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, well.
They're nice people, though. They're always very
They
welcoming. I do enjoy my visits there.
Yeah.
Just don't go at the moment because you likely to catch COVID.
No, I haven't been to see them for a while.
Can imagine.
Yeah.
What's
Good
the story
people.
in Wales though, Dave? Is it?
I don't know. I don't watch the news. I'm sorry. No good asking me.
Lockdown's ended 3 months ago.
You could be out by now.
Exactly. I'm like some Jap soldier that doesn't know the war's over.
I was about to say that there was a Japanese soldier who was still fighting in 1965.
Yeah, that'll be me. I'll still be locked down in 2023.
Last time I saw Anglesey on the news, it was some bloke had shot some other bloke with an arrow.
Really?
Yeah, it's a rough
violence.
area.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was that lockdown one?
No, it was before that. A bloke was fixing his TV aerial and somebody
That was it,
rocked
yeah.
up and shot him with a crossbow.
Blimey.
Shut laugh.
Oh,
It's funny.
didn't have a
Was
TV licence.
Because he couldn't get BBC One. Eh? That's a bit extreme, isn't it?
I don't know what the backstory is. I don't watch the news.
Surprised you even knew it happened, Dave. To be honest with you,
Eh?
I'm surprised you even knew that it had happened.
Well, no, I mean, it comes up in conversation. You chat to locals and they say, "Oh, John Williams shot in the head with a crossbow. Look you."
I should have laughed. That isn't funny.
Were you talking to Alan Coles?
No,
Because that
it's a
sounds exactly like Alan Coles.
It was a
Well,
terrible
I thought it was Alan.
impression. I could do it in Welsh, but I won't.
No, probably not a good idea.
So obviously we're talking about the coming out of lockdown. So where is everybody's first place they're going to visit? Have you got plans for April, basically?
No, 29th of March. Day booked off. Northern Lakes. 5 Fells mapped. I'm there.
You have, yeah, on the 29th.
29th birthday.
Yeah, because it's day trips, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So we can't go yet unless we want to do a 600-mile round trip in a day.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah. That's why That's why I said April because for me, I can't go. I can't visit the lakes, that's where it is. That's on my.
It's
I've got a
localish
question
to
about
me.
Yeah, you can do it.
localist to you. You're okay, but for
I've got a question about that actually because I was looking at that photo that you guys sent me, and it says April overnight stays, but in brackets it says household only.
yeah,
May
here, so-
it says overnight stays with nothing. So I wonder we might even have to wait until May, until we can actually go somewhere like the lakes and stay.
no,
If you look at the
you can travel, can't you? In April. Don't tell me that because I've already booked it.
April
12th.
April 12th. It says, but in brackets it says overnight stays, but it says in brackets household only. So
Yeah,
I don't
think,
know.
I
Yeah.
think what they're saying is you can't stay with
Other families.
another family.
Yeah.
You can
it's
go
just-
off. Yeah. So you can
Is
still
it
go
2
off.
households or up to 6 people anyway, outdoors?
That's
Yeah.
meeting. Yeah, that's meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, that's good.
But that's not hospitality, though, is it? That's what they're saying. It's not cottages and hotels and stuff. It's
Yeah,
only.
but you're in your own camper van, though, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
for camping's
So
fine. Yeah.
I read household only as like I don't know why I interpret it as well. I wasn't sure if it meant like family and close, but okay,
No,
it means you can
yeah.
go away, but only in your
in your
few. Okay.
family or your
Yeah,
support
yeah.
bubble or whatever it is. You
yeah.
know. So.
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good news. That's 2 bits of good news.
Well, I'm the same as James. I've booked off 29th and the 30th, and I'm going to go up the North Norfolk coast. I'm going to go. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to do a bit of sea work because I must admit I do like my woodland, but I'm getting a bit fed up with trees, and I need to go and see the coast. I think so. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up there on the Monday.
How big the beaches are there as well. Where you think they're going?
I don't know. Just heading somewhere up round, the Holcombe area, probably that sort of Holcombe, Holme, that area. Just to get, it'd be fantastic to get the sea air and just the air in your lungs in the seaside. It just makes you feel so much better, doesn't it? But yeah, hopefully some good conditions, and that will be. I'm really looking forward to that. I must admit.
It'll be lashing it down. What?
It probably will.
Lashing it down. I don't care.
No, me neither.
Waterproofs.
April showers.
What are you actually doing, James?
Say again.
What are you actually doing? What have you got planned?
So there's 5 northern fells. So I thought, my first thought was, do I go to Wastwater because there's a fell called Ling Mel, which I haven't done. Yeah. It's the only one in the southern area. I haven't done it, but I thought, first day out,
it's about
Wastwater.
800 metres, is it?
Just over 800, yeah, it is, yeah. Oh, it's quite a biggie. And the way my route was real up the nose, really steep. I thought it's my first hike back, so I don't want to do too much. Plus, I thought Wastwater might be a bit busy, so I'm going a bit remote. Northern Fells, Great Cock Up is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a joke?
It'll be a great cock up.
It's really called Great Cock Up.
Yeah.
Dennis Norden presented It'll Be All Right on the Night from the Summit.
That's a joke. That is a joke. Yeah.
No, it's true. He
Is
did.
it? Oh.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was one of the later ones. Obviously, they helicoptered him up there. Mind you, it's only a gentle walk. It's not a steep pull. It's just a long, steady gradient.
Yeah. It's about 12k this walk mapped out.
I remember Dennis Norden in the early 80s and he looked like he was nearly dead then. So when did he do this? Was it like when the TV was wind up or?
I can't remember. There was there's a YouTube video by a guy who talked about all the effort that went into the opening credits, and one of them was this continuous shot that featured the summit of Great Cock Up. It was one long, unbroken piece that was brilliantly engineered. I'll try and dig out the link to the video. It's very interesting.
Yeah, yes. Please do. I
could be wrong though, because if I come across it and I'm wrong, I won't share it.
That'd be a great cock up.
That would be a great cock up.
More of an F up. Anyway. Do you know what else I'm looking forward to? When I finish my day's hike, I'm stopping off at McDonald's. Some chicken nuggets and a double cheeseburger.
Is that your treat for burning off all the calories?
Yes, it is. Highlights of the day.
Literally just put them all straight back on again.
Yeah.
Why not?
So
these 5 fells are obviously less intense than the one fell.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the Ling Mel. It's quite a short one. It's steep, but it's quite short, so I'll probably do it within 2 or 3 hours. First day back, I want to spend a full day out in the fell. So it was a combination of fairly easy-ish fells and balanced with quite a long hike as well.
Actually, that's something I find interesting, James, about how you approach your photography, because it is a photography podcast, isn't it? But no, it just made me think.
You are welcome to talk about photography.
Yeah. After an hour, I might get to it.
Because obviously you have almost, I say ulterior motives, the wrong word, but you have 2 motives when you go out with your camera, don't you? One is because you're doing all the Wainwrights, so you do a big hike. Yeah. And you want to tick that off, but you approach your photography. You won't. It's more. There's no right or wrong answer, but you will go on the hike and find images throughout the hike. Your goal is to complete the hike, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. If I find images as part of that route, but my ideal aim is to tick off the Wainwrights when I go to the lakes. Yeah, absolutely.
I was just wondering, do you find that when you're there and you really like a composition, but the conditions aren't quite right, you're sort of checking your watch, you're going.
No.
No, you just want to.
I just want to complete it. I just want to complete the hike. If, however, I find a good composition and I feel it would work in better conditions, then after, when I complete all the Wainwrights, then it's location I'll go back. Yeah, I've got it in my mind of my favourite locations I'm going to return to. So I've got about 26 fells to go now. And
Wow, that's impressive, isn't it? It's a massive feat to complete. Because I know when I go, I mean, it's a bit different because I can't go up. You go up every other week, don't you? When I go up, I was starting to go up once a month before lockdown, but I would concentrate on one specific area. And I think last time I went up was, I went up. Over 3 days, I hiked up it 5 times to try and get the light, get the composition, So it's just interesting seeing different approaches, isn't it? And
that's how a real landscape photographer should approach it, Owen. To be honest,
but you've got 2 goals, haven't you?
Yeah.
So there's no right or wrong. Really. Yeah. But I just find it interesting because I always think when I'm up hiking, I think, well, no, I don't want to leave this spot. I found my spot that I want to shoot. I want to stand here and wait and hope, and if not, I want to come back tomorrow morning and wait. It's just interesting. There's no right or wrong, definitely.
If it's worth hanging around, say, for half an hour, depending what time of day it is, then I will do that. But my ultimate goal is to complete the fells itself, get to the summits.
And you could argue in that favour, like what I'm doing is almost sometimes wasting time because I'll spend a whole weekend at one point and the weather, it just will never happen, and you come home with something that, compositionally is okay, but you never got the conditions.
Yeah. So let's expand this actually, because we were going to talk about this a little bit anyway when we were talking about your thoughts on, because I noticed watching your vlogs you're very meticulous with your thoughts on composition, and so for instance when you go out, like, so you're saying you went up the same fell 3 or 4 times over a short period of time. When you go out, your goal, is it to experience, to like, because I'd imagine James is tick off the Wainwrights, and if you get some shots then that's fantastic, but it's about ticking off the Wainwrights. Is yours all about the image then? So your key thing, you're thinking, I need to find an image and I need to refine that image until I get it how I want it? Yes. I guess it is. If you sort of put it black and white, yes, it is. Mine is about the photography. I love, obviously, I feel a bit funny saying I love the Lake District, and it's, somewhere because I've only been going there 2 years. This March, I think, was the first time.
It's easy to fall in love with it straight away, isn't it? From the first visit.
Yeah, definitely. But and I think as well because I don't live as close as James, so I don't go up as often. I will focus on one key area, and I will always follow the process. So I'll get there. I'll get up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, drive up to the lakes, be there for midday, and then the goal of the first afternoon is to scout the area if I've not been there before, because I've already sort of tried to figure out if it's going to work at sunset, sunrise, and try and figure it out. So if I know the location is going to work at sunrise, my key aim is to find something for sunrise first, and then I'll if it's nice, I'll carry on shooting. Yeah, but my aim is the photograph when I go out.
So do you work? Do you do a lot of work in advance, looking for potential sites, or do you just go? Because this is really interesting. Because I wonder the rest of us could answer this as well. Because maybe you're unfamiliar with the Lake District in general. If you were someone, say, who visited there a lot, so say it was on your doorstep, like say you lived in Glenridding or somewhere where you're literally in the Lake District, do you think your approach would be, I'm just going to go out today and see what I find, or do you think you'd still look at what you want to get beforehand and go, right, these are the 3 shots that I'm looking at, and this is what I want to really sort of focus down on?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because if I lived there, I would be visiting there regularly, so I would have the option to explore and then know that in 2 months I can go back somewhere. But I'm trying to approach. That's why I haven't been too many places in the Lake District. I focus on Kings Howe, Holmfell. I've been to Ullswater, sort of around Borrowdale. I try and focus on a few areas for that exact reason, so I get to know them. So I can go up there and find a composition and enjoy it. And if the conditions don't work, I know I can go back. But what's the original question?
Well, I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering if people in general prepare for somewhere, so they do everything in advance, kind of because they're scared that if they went up there on a whim, they might fail, and it might be a waste. Like if you're going to the Lake District or Snowdonia or Scotland, and you haven't got that sort of, that idea in your mind. I'm going to visit here. I'm going to visit there. I'm going to do this. It could be a whole wasted journey. You could drive hundreds of miles and then just get out your car and go, oh my God,
Yeah, it's definitely a long game. My aim is to keep visiting these same locations so I can understand them in different times of year and how they work, and get the best out of them. Okay. It is definitely a long game, and that's why the van is so useful, because you can go to one specific location, park up, and I don't have to do anything. I can eat, sleep. Can I say shit? I can eat, sleep, and
you can say what the fuck you want.
Yeah. I can eat, sleep, and shit in the van, and it's got a heater, and so I don't have, and I can focus on one specific area and just keep going back and exploring it. And the more I go back, I think I've been to Home Fair first time I went there was with you, James, last September. So autumn, winter, summer's the only time I've not been there. Kings Howard the same. Summer's the only time I've not been there. I've been there late summer, and it's just that repetitive process of trying to, although it's a long distance, trying to treat it like it's a local thing, because I think you get more out of it that way.
What do you look for, Owen? Because obviously Lake District's a well-photographed area, and there's lots of, iconic places, iconic shots that have been taken by many good photographers. So what are you looking for? Are you looking for something different, or are you looking for particular compositions that you just enjoy?
It's a mix of both, and that comes in with the repeat visits. So obviously you'll see a photograph that I think Home Fair, it was Mark Littlejohn that I saw his photographs, and that made me think, this place looks amazing, his photographs are incredible, I want to visit there. And you kind of go there, and obviously you then have those preconceived images in your mind, don't you? But I don't try and imitate, but if I do imitate, I'm very much one to admit that. There's nothing, really was it Peter Griffin says, grinds my gears when people copy an image and don't acknowledge that they've copied it. But the ultimate goal is, I've been inspired to go there. I then want to find my own images, which isn't always possible, and but that is the ultimate goal, definitely.
It's really interesting, though. I wonder what the rest of you guys think, because I think that's kind of a true photographer's outlook, right? I look at it and go, I'd love to go to, say, I do go back to certain places like the Ogwen Valley and some place like that, but like, I always wanted to kind of go back to maybe the Roaches or Wyoming Brook, but then I kind of think I've got my vlogger's head on, and I think I've done that, and people don't want to watch that again. So I need to. So I wonder whether we're less photographers and more almost like location collectors, Because there are some people take it to the huge extreme, don't they? And they're desperate to go to new places every time. And it's like, they see someone else somewhere and they're like, I must go there and I must go there and I must go there. Whereas you're very much the other way. You're sort of like, I want to get this right. So what do you guys think?
Well, I think for me, I know we're almost talking a little bit about hiking now rather than photography, but James is obviously, his aim is to do all of the Wainwrights, but my aim is to concentrate purely in the Southern Fells, which would be 30 Wainwrights. And the reason I've chosen that is because I've always been extremely envious of people like Dave. Dave's a great example, and other people, when they'll stand on one fell or one summit and then they'll just look out at all these bumps and ridges and then name all of these mountains that are in the distance. And I just thought, I'd love to be able to do that. And so I was building up, obviously, a picture when I was in Snowdonia pre-2020, but because I want to visit the Lake District now, I want to stay in a group that not only can I get an idea of obviously what is actually there and how to photograph them, I can start recognising the place and getting a real feel for it. I wouldn't want to photograph one month in the Southern Fells and then drive north and do one in the Northern Fells and then the Eastern Fells. It's too big, So my view is to keep it really tight in the Southern Fells and build up a nice kind of mental map in my mind as well of all the
That's how I
picture and
approach. Sorry, Dad. That's how I approached when I first started to group together Wainwrights.
Yeah.
They divide into 7 different areas. So when I first started, I did them all together, one group, and then move on.
Yeah.
And then you get to familiarise yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
With the names.
That's the plan.
Yeah. But lately I've got like 3 different areas to do, and I've done bits and bats of each area now. So as the final fells are approaching, I'm getting scattered about a bit.
Yeah.
But I've got a good knowledge of the names.
Yeah.
I suppose as well, James, by grouping them, you'll see the same fells, and you'll see them how the light hits them at different times of day from different angles. So not only are you're building up that knowledge of how the landscape works, how it harmonises with all the light and how it falls and stuff.
You're right. But to be honest, I don't think that way. I don't think that way. Going back to what I mean, for me, if you're planning a shoot, if you're planning a certain composition, for me, you're taking the excitement out of it. I'm very much go and find the composition. I love finding compositions. I love building, the picture together. And I don't want to go to a location with half the job done for me already.
I completely agree with that, because sometimes when I've gone and scouted it and I'm really excited for the morning, I think, I've got this really good composition, I'm really pleased with it, and you go back the next morning and the conditions are terrible. It is really deflating. It really is, and sometimes I end up questioning myself that why am I not? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Dave, you've lived in Snowdonia. How long have you been photographing? The mountains up, in Snowdonia for? How
long time. But for me, I'm with the James school of hiking. The hike is always the reason I'm in the hills, and I happen to have a camera with me, and then I happen to video it. And it's very much in that order. So, because obviously I was doing that before I did photography. So, I think it's really sad when people say, they visit a beautiful area and they come away disappointed. I think people forget to just enjoy the area.
Yeah, quite right.
Spot on.
I'm really interested by this though, because it kind of feels like we're going away from being photographers to just being people who enjoy the outdoors and photography.
No, not great.
No,
you've got a location, you find the composition. That's your photographer mind.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the people who, let's say, I don't know how to put this. Not the people who win awards, but the people who maybe I look at someone who is maybe, it'd be interesting to see who we speak to in the coming weeks. But it'd be interesting to think that there may be people out there who go, right, this image here is exactly the image I want, and I'm going to come back and back and back and back and back and back till I get exactly the right conditions, and then I'm going to get the shot that I really want. Whereas we're kind of saying that it's not about the image, it's about the experience. So we make an image.
Well, I suppose that depends on your geography as well, doesn't it? I mean, if for argument's sake, you lived, 20 minutes or half an hour away from that fantastic composition, then you have the luxury to keep returning. But for us, I wouldn't want, if I'd done one hike a month and I found an amazing composition in January, for argument's sake, but the conditions were, I wouldn't want to spend my whole year once a month just returning to that same spot. There's, after a certain amount of time, you have to think, it's too far, I've got to give this up, I want to experience something else.
I guess as well, I have to clarify another part of the reason why I keep visiting things. I think I did explain it in one of the videos, is trying to build up a knowledge so that I can teach, if you see what I mean, as well. So there's like an ulterior motive that probably should explain as well for like teaching. So if I want to do group workshops over it, it's like, I said earlier, it's like a long-term plan.
Yeah.
Is that sort of thing, so I could feel comfortable running a workshop and knowing if the light's going to fall a certain way, this way, something's going to happen, that I'm confident enough that I could actually handle that situation.
Yeah.
So it's just
point. That's a fair point.
I'd feel a bit of a fraud trying to run, I would hate to run a workshop in, Snowdonia. I would feel like a complete fraud because I wouldn't know the...
And not only that, Dave would shoot you.
With his crossbow.
Yeah, but Owen would be properly... Owen would be properly prepared, whereas I just wing it.
You don't, Dave. We know you don't.
Yeah, but you can wing it because you've lived there that long. You know the landscape. You have that. It's a bit like jazz, isn't it? To play jazz guitar, you have to go through hours of learning scales over here, playing arpeggios, scales, harmonising, and then once you learn the rules, you can break the rules. And I kind of see that with how maybe you are in Snowdonia, because you've lived there that long. You've learnt all the rules. So now you don't need to follow. You can just, you can jazz.
It does look quite jazz, Dave, doesn't it?
I'll use that next time I'm out and about.
Okay, so moving on from our actual photography chat, because we don't want to talk about that the whole podcast, do we? We decided to this week we're going in with, what are we going in with? Our favourite track of the 21st century, and we did that because, let's face it, after 2010 there's absolutely nothing, is there? So let's start with Darren. So what have you got, Darren?
Well, we're going from 2000 to 220, yeah, because actually the track that I've picked, I think, is 2013.
Okay.
Right, and there's a really good reason for this, and this particular band, there was so many tracks that I could choose from. So look what I'll do. Let me share my screen.
The whistle from the wind will haunt your mind when they're all outside. Swimming to the shore, find the lighthouse in the dark and shine a light on every single soul that weeps that you have torn. Find the lighthouse in the dark, directing ships that carry all their broken hearts that you have torn apart.
Right, so the reason that I chose this is because that guy there, Mikey, the lead singer, he's a really good friend of mine. And I know there's a big age difference. In fact, he's probably the same age as Owen. But I've known all five of these guys, and I desperately wanted them to make it big, because you watch things like the X Factor or Pop Idol, not that I do, but them kind of shows where they're just manufactured and they're a massive hit one year, and then the next one comes and the next one's a massive hit. And for me, these guys just work so hard, touring up and down the country, sleeping in the back of a transit van, and their ultimate aim, or that the aim on that particular time, was just to break even. If they could pay their petrol money, and get round the country and back, they'd done well. But they did get signed to a record label, and they was playing Reading, they was playing Leeds, and they just done so well. They toured America, and unfortunately they never kind of went on to the next level, but they was interviewed on Radio 1 countless times. So I think for me, because obviously I know the guys, I know the history, and as I say, Mikey, to this day, he's such a good friend of mine. I thought I have to pick them because I absolutely love their music.
Is it still like McFly?
No, nothing like that. It's
less poppy. I don't mean as poppy.
No, it's I suppose kind of rock. I suppose kind of like Nirvana, that kind of music, and they did mellow a little bit towards the end. But not they didn't sell out. They didn't mellow too much. But in the early days there was a few screams. But
still going then?
No, and basically, so Mikey left the band, and they did carry on as a 4-piece. And Sam's amazing. He's the bass guitarist, but he pretty much writes all of the music, and he's not got a bad voice. They carried on with the 4, I think, for one more album, and then that's it. They all kind of call it a day. But Mikey's doing solo stuff now. But
who signed them? Was it anyone?
It was a record label that is owned by Sony.
Okay. I've definitely heard of them. I've heard of that group.
Yeah, I'll say Mallory.
Yeah.
They was played. Mallory Knox was played on Radio 1 a hell of a lot. You know,
They sound to me a bit like Bring Me the Horizon. That type of. What's the one that? Oh God, I can't remember his name. That might even be Bring Me the Horizon. One who played the Joker in. Oh, never mind.
Phoenix.
No, his name's Jared. Jared something. Not Jared Polin. No, not Jared Polin. Jared's someone else. He played the Joker in Suicide Squad, and he was in. I'm sure that might have been Bring Me the Horizon. They sound a lot like that. They're sort of that. I think Owen just said a bit like My Chemical Romance.
right?
Yeah, I wouldn't have said Nirvana, but
No.
that sort of softer, sort of.
Quite
Yeah.
as grungy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. It's good. Good
Yeah,
music.
no, they are. They're great, and I'm not just saying that because they're friends. I mean, I've generally, picked them. I love their music.
My audio geek came out. I was trying to figure out why he picked an SM57 for his vocal mic.
I thought that. I'm not going to mention it. Keep it quiet.
We all wondered that, Owen. We all wondered that.
The worries.
Who's next then? Go on. I'm desperate to hear Jamie. Jamie, you got a playlist, haven't you?
You got a playlist as well, haven't you?
I've got two. Jamie, I reckon's got about 5. They're not guaranteed to be from the 21st century. Are
You've
they?
never heard of any of them. Oh yeah.
Listen, you may have noticed that I do struggle with this pick a favourite track from a certain era for the reasons that will have become obvious over the terms of the podcast. But this particular section of time I really struggled with because I have got no idea at all of any songs in this section. So what I had to do was to go through Spotify and websites, and looking at the names of the songs and the artists didn't really help me. I had to keep clicking on them and playing them to actually realise whether I liked the song or not, because I remember that one. Yeah, I quite like that one. Right. So I did that quite a few times, and it has resulted in a playlist. So you might be surprised actually with a few of these, because you've used to the Cotton Eye Joes of this world, and these may come as a surprise. So the first of my playlist is this one. Blimey, it's got you stumped. Still got you stumped.
I know the song. I can't name the artist.
Is it Maroon 5?
It is Maroon 5, Memories. Yes, well done. So that was the and actually probably out of all of them, that's probably that is probably my favourite, to be fair. But the others I quite like as well. But I'm gonna.
Is it the same group?
No. Really?
Taylor Swift.
No?
Britney.
Here we go. Next bit.
It's Britney. Is it Britney?
It's the Script.
okay.
Rain by the Script.
He gets right on my wicket.
Number 3.
Lead singer.
Number
He's
3
on,
is
he's on next week.
Is it? Also, I'm not.
So number 3 is one of my wife's favourite. Sorry, Leslie's favourite songs. And it's a bit of a classic for the era, apparently, according to Leslie.
Oh no, Muse.
Doctor Who.
That's Muse.
That's
I know,
exactly what I
Muse.
said when I
know
played
that.
it. It's Doctor
Yeah.
Who. Yeah. It's the
Muse.
what? The Muse.
Yeah, Muse. Yeah, not the Muse.
Or,
Oh, the music.
not
Yeah,
the Muse.
brilliant. I bet that's brilliant live.
And what was it called?
No idea.
Uprising.
You can just tell though, can't you? When
Uprising
you can
by
just
the
do
Black
the
holes
sound,
and
haven't they?
sandry towels or something.
My internet went then. My
Right,
internet.
number 4,
That's a shame.
number 4 actually I quite like, and it may surprise you,
4?
the artist. I'm still going.
It's got 5.
I've got 5. Come on.
Not a lot of plan.
Come on.
Oh, cool.
Coldplay.
Yeah,
Coldplay.
Coldplay, Sky Full of Stars. And the final one,
What's this song?
A bit loud.
a bit
Pompeii.
loud.
Bastille.
Bastille, Pompeii.
Yeah, good song.
So actually, I thought I did quite well there, don't you think?
Yeah, not bad.
How many of
you.
them do you actually know?
I know all of them. I've listened to all of them, and I quite like all of them. Hence why
Well,
I
you
chose
have
them.
now.
But if I'm honest, I wouldn't listen to them every day. And if they were on the radio, I would probably sing along to them or hum along to them.
You were
but that's about
frantically
it.
typing into Google Rednecks 2000s, Rednecks 2000s.
I did try and get the Venga boys in. But,
Did you?
But he did.
Oh dear. Right. Let's go. Let's go, Dave. Let's go, Dave.
No.
Come on,
not me.
Dave. Come on. It's a hard
Okay.
act to follow, I know, but come on.
It is. I'm being humiliated because my situation is probably somewhat worse than Jamie's with my advancing years. However, I actually do have two songs, but the first one is a cover, although the song was released in the 2000s, in 2011. But this is a cover by a Canadian band where 5 people play the same guitar.
Ah, I've seen this.
I recognise this.
It's Goiche, isn't it? Somebody I used to know.
Yeah.
I quite like that one.
It's really clever.
But this is a
could've watched
Canadian band called Walk Off the Earth.
And they're all playing that on one guitar.
It's quite incredible. They're a great
Yeah.
band, by the way. I think they're out of Toronto, but they do a lot of covers like that. They have got original stuff as well. I do quite like the original, but I really enjoyed that particular interpretation of it. So that's why I thought I'd share that one. I'll send you the link.
I think
later.
they harmonised the vocals later as well. It's really. I remember that. It's one of those things that you've not seen it for years.
they're a great
but you
band.
Do. Yeah.
Walk Off the Earth, really good band. My main one though.
Do you know any of them,
this-
Dave? Dave, do you know any of them?
What, the band?
What? Yeah.
No.
Nah, well,
Should I?
You're not a roadie like that.
Well, you're not like Darren, are you? I mean,
Not in it.
friend to the stars.
Friend to the
Yeah,
stars,
exactly.
yeah.
All the people I know are as ancient as I am. So this is my sort of main choice if I had to rescue one from the waves and all that sort of shenanigans. This is a young girl from Bangor, and it's an original song recorded halfway up one of our local mountains. This video. You won't have heard of her.
Sounds like Ellie Goulding in a way.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, but she sings with a lovely North Wales accent.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Who's that again, Dave?
That's a girl called Cassie Wynne, but she records under Cassie and the Blind Harpist.
Of course. Rolling off the tongue.
Standard.
And she's just a local girl, does a lot of work in Welsh and works on S4C a lot, but has also got a few English tracks out. I
She
just
did-
really like her stuff.
She did sound a bit like Ellie Goulding, you're right. She did.
Definitely.
With a Welsh twang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's she
Yeah,
called
that's
again?
me.
Cassie and the Winglets.
Cassie Wynne. CASI Wynne, WIN. WYN, not I.
What have
She's
you
from
got there,
Bangor.
James? What are you looking at? Oh,
It's writing it down.
I'm
on
writing her
the
name
screen.
down because I'm going to look at her.
I'll send you the link.
Listen to her.
that.
That's really bad.
slip of the tongue.
I'm going to look at her. I might even listen to her.
Send in the link to write down as well in
Yeah.
his book. You can't click on that though. You know that, yeah? It doesn't work. I think we should go with Owen next. Come on in, Owen. What you got, mate?
Okay. I didn't realise you could share videos, and I didn't realise it was up until
Oh, it's only Darren's doing that.
it was up until
Dead posh.
it was up until 2020. So hold on, I'll be able to show you something. So I cheated a little bit. So the song
By
is
being young and knowing what you're talking about.
So
Were you born in this century?
I think I was. Oh, hold on, I have to just switch my YouTube channels because
Oh
I was
no, I
like,
think we're doing tunes of the 50s tonight. Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
So this is my favourite musician at the minute. Hold on. So they're called Man Overboard Quintet.
Robert Maxwell.
Right. Hold on.
Owen was the only one, bless him, who didn't get that joke.
Didn't get that, no.
No, he's far too young.
So I've cheated a little bit because he's not the composer of this song, but he's the performer. And for me, it's just the most incredible musical performance. I don't know, there's something about how he plays. It's my favourite instrument as well. It's clarinet. It's my favourite instrument. It's just the most beautiful performance of a song by the composer Sidney Bechet. And I've done this on my channel as well. I've copied his performance of this on the guitar. But for me, it's just the most incredible musical performance. And for me, it's just sit back and put your feet up. In fact, I will.
You're right, actually. There is something. The clarinet is a lovely sounding instrument.
It's just got that
That's a lovely song, Owen. I really
emotion to it, isn't it?
to that.
Yeah.
It's,
It
and
needs
it's
a
just
good meal.
it's just how and the musician, the band is called the Man Overboard Quintet, but the guy playing clarinet is called Ewan Bleach, and it's just something about how he plays his instrument that, you know, I can listen to that in any frame of mind. I can be the most the most angry mood, and it just puts me in a
You don't
frame of
get
mind.
So what era is that from? What decade is that originally?
Probably Sidney Bechet, so it'd be around the war.
Okay.
Around the war, or maybe is he a bit later? Is it 60s? Do you know what? I'll have to find out. But yeah, the original composition was around then. But he's obviously played this, and then for me, it's just incredible talent, and it speaks
chilled.
to my soul.
Yeah.
Very, very chilled. Really chilled music. Moving on from chilled music, what have you got, James?
Well, I've created a little playlist, you know. Quite organised this time. And this first song is from one of my favourite bands, and we're going to go from the chill to the rockish. And this one is from Green Day. And this is 21 Guns.
It's a good song.
I love the opening.
Do you know what's worth fighting for when it's not worth dying for?
Yeah.
It's a good song. That's a good choice.
It's a builder as well.
Yeah.
But they've been going on for years, haven't they? I looked at Basket Case, but that's like 97 or something like that. It was.
Probably earlier.
Probably earlier, in fact.
Yeah, about 94, I think.
Them against Blink 182, wasn't it? I remember that.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
Now, this next one, you've probably not heard of, and this came to light. Has anyone watched this series on Netflix called Away? With Hilary Swankin, where she travels to Mars. No. So this is a French girl, a young French artist, and really haunting voice, so melodic as well. She's called Pomme. She's French, but at this moment in time, she's probably my favourite artist. And you either like it or don't like it. Sorry, French.
J'ai prévu nos adieux à la terre, et je veux partir avec toi. Je veux mourir dans tes bras.
See, this is some really interesting choices.
Yeah, it is.
But
It's nice. I like that.
Yeah,
Mine are going to look run of the mill.
really
You translated
different.
it for us, James.
Huh?
You could translate it for us.
Hold on.
Later.
It's a
The
lovely
thing is, I
voice, though.
can't
I do actually
listen to the real French accent like that without going back to the film Blazing Saddles. Do you ever remember the film Blazing Saddles? And they had that. I forget what obviously the female character was, but yeah, she sung like
I nearly
that.
said something then I shouldn't have done.
Are you thinking of Hedy Lamarr?
Hedy Lamarr.
Blazing Saddles. Oh.
She was German.
Was she German? Well, it's just the accent.
I'll tell
It's
you
just
what. Fun fact: Hedy Lamarr. You'll never believe this, but this is true pub quiz stuff. She invented Bluetooth.
Did she?
She was a scientist, and she went to America before the war, fleeing the Nazis. But she was a
Jewish
physicist,
again?
a physics specialist, and she invented very short radio range stuff, and Bluetooth was made out of that.
Another
there
fun
you
fact.
go. No.
If Hitler would have been a bit better, France, Germany, come see, come saw. Anyway, carry on. Yeah. What else you got?
Oh, me.
Can I just say how much I enjoy your two lighting, Dave and James? Your lighting. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you.
So the final artist, and she probably is my favourite female artist, and you've all heard of her. And this is where she partnered with Bradley Cooper, and this is Shallow. Very nice.
Tell me something, girl.
That's Bradley Cooper, not Lady Gaga.
like that.
Are you happy in this modern world?
Wait till Lady Gaga.
Or do you need more? Is there something else you're searching for? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change. And in the bad times I fear myself.
Where?
That's a talented man, though, isn't it?
Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more?
That's a chorus.
Help me find my little French boy.
Really testing the copyright strike now, guys.
Falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change.
Keep it up, mate.
And in the bad times I fear myself. I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never leave the ground. Crash through the
I tell you, James has got a great voice.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's just beautiful,
I don't
James.
know the words though.
Don't worry, we'll edit the first 3 hours of that track out.
Yeah.
They got help find her dogs. Her dogs have been stolen. Did you hear about her dog walker got shot in
Yeah.
the chest?
Yeah, I heard that. Dog walk, yeah.
Yeah.
Little,
I hope they find
what sort of
him.
dog was it? Little
French
toy
bulldogs.
Was it?
She's away. Yeah.
My wife absolutely loves that. The whole, what is it? Star is Born, isn't it?
Yeah, the film's excellent.
Yeah,
Really good.
yeah.
She can act as well.
Yeah,
She's a good actress.
yeah.
I think she's very talented.
Tried my hardest to avoid it, but
It's good though, isn't it? And same for Thingy, Mr. Is it Cooper? Isn't it? Bradley Cooper. He can sing as well. Listening to that. Isn't it?
so it's just left to me again. I've got boring choices compared to you guys. I feel a bit. I feel
bother.
a bit like
You move on, then.
I feel a bit like now. Right. So this is the first one. This is the this is the first one. I love this. I love this group. I don't know if any of you guys would have heard of them, but I've been to see them 5 or 6 times and absolutely love them. This is my favourite track of theirs. Love it. No one's got a clue of those.
Ostrich tentacles.
No.
It sounds familiar, but I can't. I know it.
The theme from Rainbow.
Bungle.
Zippy.
No, that is
George.
That is that is a song called El Salvador by a group called Athlete. You probably would have heard of them. They've done a song called Wires. That was a really big song around the early 2000s, but I love them. I love Athlete. But since I knew that none of you would even know who they were, I decided to pick another song. So this is my song that I'm going to say is my favourite, even though that was my favourite.
Yeah.
Thought we'd have one of these.
Yes. Excellent live.
Yeah. And that is Mr. Brightside by the Killers. I thought the 2000s were quite hard. Early
Did expect
2000s,
a Killers track.
Early 2000s, there were quite a lot that I could have picked, like Keane, Snow Patrol,
The Strokes.
yes.
Used to like
the Strokes,
Yeah.
White Stripes. Who else was I thinking? Kaiser Chiefs, but Fratellis. But as you go on, there's very little. So yeah, so that was
It was bands with the, wasn't it, at the beginning?
It was. There was lots of
remember
the
that, yeah.
bands, yes, definitely. But yeah, so there you go. Right.
So that's it. So we've now retired this little feature forever now, haven't we? Unless we want to go back to the 50s, but I think we've done the 60s to the present day, and I think that's enough now, isn't it?
Let's move on and let's talk about our favourite photos that we've taken in 2021, which I know for some people is going to be very difficult. It wasn't particularly easy for me, but it'd still be quite interesting to see what you've managed to get, even though, when did we go into lockdown? Was it the 4th of January? It was
4th of
very
January,
early, wasn't it?
First week.
So let's have a look then. What have we got? Who wants? Let's let the guests go first this time. What have you got, Ian? What's your favourite shot?
Is it woodland?
Actually, it's very easy for me because I think I have like 3 photographs to choose from. I've only actually been out with my camera once
That's a
in
lovely image,
2021. So this is my image, and I literally have about 3 to choose from. So it was nice and easy for a change. But
So
That's lovely.
Talk us through your processing of this image, Owen. I mean, let's talk about the saturation or the vibrance or even the dehaze and clarity. I mean, because it looks like it's a very, very soft image. It's a lovely, lovely soft image.
Yeah, definitely. So it's actually it's not too much done to it, but the key, I think one of the key points here is I went back to, you know how we were talking about earlier about revisiting locations and learning, and this is the same spot of woodland that I've been to. You know where I shot the deer?
Yeah.
This
Of
is
course we
that
do.
exact same.
Everybody
this
does.
is that. This is that exact same spot, and I've shot dozens of photographs just standing in the exact same spot, just picking out different compositions. So I thought that was quite an interesting point because you guys maybe wouldn't have realised that without me telling you. So it just shows you can keep revisiting something.
Yeah.
And making something completely different. But key things in capture were long focal length, and I think I was at f8 or f11, but because I was at long end of 200mm, your depth of field is still very shallow.
Yeah.
So that automatically makes the background soft as well. Second point was the wind, and because it was lightly snowing, as soon as the wind blew, it really helped soften the background as well.
Right.
So that was two key points in capture, was waiting for that wind to blow and really help soften the background. In editing, it was a case of negative clarity, a little bit of Orton effect. I'm very selective with my Orton effect though, so I won't apply Orton to my main, the things that are sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's maybe like 2 or 3% Orton.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
it's barely, you don't really notice it. And then it's just a vignette. And it's
How
not.
much did you
it's
drop
not-
the clarity back? Sorry, how much did you drop the clarity back?
Maybe I don't ever go above 20.
Still quite a lot.
It can be, but it's targeted as well. So
Yeah.
I won't.
So you put a mask on, haven't you?
Yeah. I won't. I
Other than
don't.
you.
Yeah.
Your feature tree branch.
Yeah, I don't tend to touch that in Lightroom. I tend to touch that when I get into Photoshop, and then I'll open up Camera Raw
Yeah, I do that.
and drop it, and then paint out. I'll do it to the whole image, and then I'll paint out the things that I don't want.
Yeah.
That little
mask on.
that little tree in the left hand side, nicely positioned there, Owen, between those. Although it's not the main subject, he's
This
still
little one
nicely,
here.
Yeah.
nicely positioned in the middle there, so you've got a full view of him. Yeah,
See, I saw the big character at the far back. See that character? That's one of Manny's trees, is that?
And actually, that's one I've looked at since taking this and thought, oh, I've got another reason to go back to this location.
Yeah.
And it's really nice because it's right at the edge of the woodland. So if you do get, even if you only get a little bit of mist, you get the light come through. And if you only have a little bit of mist, you're likely to get it here.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could show you the raw file as well. But the key point is, I think, is the wind driving that, the snow falling.
Yeah.
And that gives you that canvas to emphasise rather than having to create that.
Yeah, snow's almost replaced the fog, hasn't it? The mist.
Yes,
It's done the job for you.
Yeah. Beautiful shot, mate.
That's a great
really
shot,
lovely.
Yeah. Thank you.
And when did you take this?
Outside of lockdown, I hope.
No, it was in, but it was. I can't remember now. It was the day before, so everything was clear. It was the next day we had snow upon snow upon snow.
Yeah.
And it worked quite nicely having sort of minimal snow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have much to choose from, so.
With too much snow, it would have covered the bronze and lead, and I thought you would have lost a lot of the effect.
Yes.
It's the faint browns, the bronzes, the silver.
Yeah,
that helps, doesn't it? Definitely.
Yeah.
And something I've got into lately, sorry to labour, is I like to desaturate my images rather than saturate. I like to add vibrance but take away saturation.
Yeah,
good shot.
I think that works really well on this one. Can I ask you a quick question? You know when you drop the clarity, do you add a little bit of texture? Because I tend to find that when I do mine, if I drop the clarity and just push the texture up a bit, it just brings back the details a little bit, but just gives you that ethereal look as well.
Definitely. If I was going to do it globally, definitely. But because I tend to do it in Photoshop as a layer, I find I don't mind losing the texture in the bits because I paint back in what I want to have texture anyway. So it's kind of like the same thing, but sort of targeted. And I've been using the Wacom tablet for 3 years nearly now, and it just works perfectly for things like that.
Okay, so who wants to go next? Anybody want to jump in? Let's go. Well, if no one wants to jump in, I'm going to go for Dave. Go on, Dave.
Oh, right, okay. So this wasn't a shoot. This was a dog walk, but I was carrying my main camera with me at the time because I had a suspicion there might be some quite nice light, and it sort of comes up in the right direction. What attracted me to this one was the Z shape in it. S's can be hard to come by, but you can often find a Z quite easily, and it works quite well in this. That marram grass in the foreground really played ball with the light on it, and also the headland just up under the horizon's catching some nice light as well. And because I was hand-holding, I was out for a walk. There's no filters. This was a single shot, so I had to be quite careful with it because that light was really bright, and of course with the 4/3, if I had it too dark elsewhere to cope with not clipping that light, it's not going to come back very well. I thought the camera did a really good job of this one, so I quite like it.
It's a stay as well because look, you got the two people walking, just hidden away as well. The more you look at it, the more.
I was going to ask who that was. I didn't know whether that was Winnie or whether that was people walking.
No, that's walkers.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Where is this, Dave? Because you can't beat sea and mountains.
Yeah, this is from Anglesey looking across to the Llŷn Peninsula.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
And it's about a mile and a half from the house.
Very nice.
It's an
mate.
incredible place to live, isn't it?
I must admit, I mean, we got marrow grass, Norfolk and Suffolk, but I mean, the first time I think that I shot it on Anglesey, I couldn't believe how thick and lush it was there. It can be quite sparse, really, in Norfolk and Suffolk. Well, certainly the beaches that I visited, but yeah, no, it wasn't Newborough Beach, Dave. What's the next one with that little boat wreck?
You were at Penrose.
Penrose, yeah. There, I was shooting there, and just with that marram grass, I was just like, oh, beautiful, very thick. Very lush.
it makes nice shapes, and you'd think just with a slab of grass, it wouldn't make much of an image. There's a chap in Suffolk, I can't remember his name, but he shoots a lot of marram grass.
John Gibbs.
That's him. Cracking photographer.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And actually, to be fair, having looked at his work, that encouraged me to make more use of what we've got round here because, I've got plenty to work with.
Yeah.
He used to have a gallery up north in Norfolk, didn't he? He goes up to...
He lives up
in
near
Norfolk
Yarmouth
Coast,
way.
he does.
Yeah.
Okay.
He shoots a lot of grass, marram grass with an ND6 or something like that. So he actually incorporates the movement into the grass as well. So it's not just a frozen grass. He can see the movement in the grass, and that works quite well.
Definitely. I was looking at this, and I was trying to calculate your shutter speed and things. And I know you said it was handheld as well, and obviously you got the dynamic range. I was trying to think which way is the wind blowing. Looking at the foreground, it looks like it's blowing, bottom right in. But then when you actually get into the mid-ground, it's because it's then more open ground. It's sort of mishmashing, isn't it? But it's a stayer, isn't it? Your eye travels through it. And I like how the clouds
it was a bit of luck.
top.
It really was because the light played ball, and without the light to give me those ridges of grass, it'd be a bit boring.
I love that Owen's. I love that Owen's like, I was trying to work out the shutter speed in which way. I'm just looking at it going, that's nice. Yeah, that's all right.
It's nice, and I appreciate the little things like you see where you've got the clouds coming across the top to the top left that you haven't clipped them. They're nicely in the composition. And it leads through everything,
thanks,
and
mate.
there's lots of angles that always lead you back in the frame.
Yeah,
it's nicely done.
Cheers.
I haven't spoken to anyone for a long time other than Penny, so it's nice to.
Got to straight him up now.
And she's fed up of me.
Who's next? Darren?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Go on then, mate. What you got?
All right. Right, so for me, obviously it's not a landscape image. I've obviously been focusing purely at the college, and this particular composition, which is obviously a pano, I'd shot this twice before, actually in the morning, and it was the light wasn't particularly great, and at the moment, obviously the college is very empty. And there was a few problems by shooting this in the morning, other than the light wasn't very good, is that there's not many lights on within the student rooms, basically because there's actually not a lot of people in the college at the moment. But I was working late one evening, and the building that you're looking at on the right-hand side, that's called Old Hall. And I was walking from Old Hall away, and I just kind of looked over my shoulder, and I kind of realised there was more bedroom lights on, because obviously it was an evening and not a morning, and it was a lovely crisp evening as well, and there was loads of stars out. So I thought, right, I'll give this a go now. But the dynamic range it was absolutely insane, because you've got them two really kind of bright floodlights on Old Hall itself, and then on the left-hand side, the far left-hand side, there's another spotlight there, and there's some bollard lighting. So actually I took 42 images to make up this shot, and I stuck it all into
to make this one shot. 42.
Pano.
Yeah.
Different exposures.
Different exposures. Yeah. So different exposures. So it was from 20 seconds right the way down to 0.4 seconds and then obviously moving the camera, allowing for like a 40%.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so I think it was like something like 7. What would that be? I think it was 7 exposures for one image, and then move the camera 7 again, move the camera. So yeah, it was six shots sweeping from right to left. And I mean, I don't know if I needed them all. I did play around and tried to reduce it, but be honest with you, when I put them all in together, it seemed to produce a better image. And also, if you look on the right hand side of the image, you can see like the archway, and in the morning there was always a car park there.
Yeah.
So again, in the evening, it just seemed to work because there was no staff. So the archway is completely empty. And so, yeah, I just really like this image actually, and it went down extremely well on the kind of college social media.
I'll tell you what I really like about it, Darren. It's the fact that it would be really easy with a shot like this to really punch it, to really do you know what I mean? Like crush those blacks and get that sky. But this looks just natural, and it's almost like decontrasty, and it's lovely. It's really nice. So those 42 images, mate, that's taking cheating to a whole new level.
I didn't think Sony struggled that much with dynamic range, but obviously it is the case.
Well, it's the spotlights. That's what it was. You know, it was. They was just so bright. And I'm pleased with this, and I've been focusing on the college as my project this year, and it served me well. But I am looking forward to moving away from the college and shooting some proper landscape now.
Darren, I've got three comments on this. And the first two are a really good one. Your verticals are vertical, which is a big thing I notice with people who shoot.
He's very sensitive, Owen.
Yeah, no, he knows what. And he's we could be. And it's a really nice image. I really like it. That's what I'm saying. The verticals are vertical, which is key with this, because it's architectural, isn't it? The amount of photos you see where people take it and everything skew-if, it just doesn't look.
Distortion. Yeah.
Second thing, which is key, which is part of the dynamic range you're talking about, is you see the room just so, and actually it's almost yes and no. So you see that bedroom on the sort of left third.
Yeah.
You've got your highlight spot on. You can actually see in the bedroom.
You can.
Oh yeah, look at her.
That's perfect. The only thing I would then say is to swing against that is the front door maybe needs to be slightly
ajar.
Yeah, but I think it's spot on. The fact that you've got it. Yeah, that's it. Look, there you go.
It needs to be open. Yeah,
there
it don't work. It needs to be open.
No, it's perfect. Yeah, look
it
at
needs to form a gateway.
Yeah, brilliant.
That I can't open that door. It's got a big door closer, and I know it has because I fitted the thing.
You've not got the key, Darren.
It's got a huge door closer on that thing.
But what you've done is you've handled your highlights really well. The only thing I would like to see.
Good job someone does around here.
Yeah, the only thing I would like to see is shoot this at blue hour, Darren, not at night time. And the deep blues that you would get contrast against those yellows.
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah,
I'm not saying it would be better. I would just like to see it.
It would have been. Yeah, it's blue. It was probably an hour. Yeah, it was probably 2 hours, an hour and a half after sunset. So yeah.
Do you know why it works? Because your colours are on opposite sides of the colour spectrum. You've got your deep greens against your deep purples.
I'm loving those highlights though, Darren. The fact that you've handled them to you can actually see in the room. It looks like you got the bloke who cuts the grass to even to give you
the leading lines here.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Right, I will stop sharing.
I'm not sure about the rest of you guys who are left over, but I've got a feeling that I'm going to get ripped apart by Owen here because he knows what he's talking about when it comes to photography.
Just chat and you pretend.
I'm in big trouble. I'm going to edit out anything you say. Don't worry. Who's next? James or Jamie? Or actually, do you know what? I'll go and then we'll get it out of the way. I'll go. So I haven't been anywhere at all. So this is my image. And you can probably guess what it's going to be. Because I haven't been anywhere at all. So,
yeah, rocking.
Do you know what? I thought you would have picked a Starling.
I thought Starling.
I really
Do you know what? I
because-
haven't taken any starlings this year.
Have you
In
not?
2021, no.
Starling was all last year.
Have they been
wasn't it?
blackbirds,
So
have they?
last year, starlings.
Blackbirds, robins, and blue tits. But
Yeah, well,
I
you
just
can't. A robin never gets old. I must
No,
admit. It's,
exactly. And there was a couple that I looked at, but this one is just. I just think of the robin, sort of, step into the light, little robin.
Yeah,
Off
nice
you
bit
go.
of catch light.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that, mate. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
lovely composed. That look at that towel right in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah.
Little bit of catch light coming in from the right. Yeah.
So
Good
there you
choice,
go.
that.
Simple shot
Good
for me.
choice.
Just a bird. Anything you want
Do you know what I would have done?
What?
Crop
That
tip.
black spot on the pot. Put on that.
That?
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
I tied it up a bit.
Yeah, possibly. But
I like the diagonals though. I like how you. Is this how it is, or have you cropped it? It doesn't matter either way.
it's cropped. Yeah, it's cropped in. Yeah.
Because I like how it diagonals go across.
Yeah, it kind of works
Yeah.
from this diagonal here kind of splits the light from the dark across the bird. So it kind of, I get what you're saying, James, about maybe tidying it up, but I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. In hindsight, I probably could have just got rid of that little black spot, but
And that dead worm as well.
How cropped is it?
do you know? I don't know. I'd probably say. Do you know what? I'd have to find a raw file. I'm not 100% sure. Not massively cropped. Not massively.
It looks beautiful.
What-
It's
What lens?
That's 150 to 600, and that's at 600
What-
mil.
Is it?
What was the shutter speed, Owen?
knows.
The wind,
250.
the wind direction, I believe, was no. I don't
It
know.
was a northeasterly.
Yeah.
What's the aperture though at that 600 mil? It's got to be quite tight, isn't it?
That's
So
F-
you've got to
F-
have your ISO up.
I'm shooting that at f5.6. Well, that's 6.3.
600 mil, bloody hell.
f6.3.
What lens is that then?
It's a Sigma 150 to 600.
Wow.
It shoots wide open at f6.3. That ISO probably would have been 800.
Yeah.
But then it's gone through Topaz denoise, which is amazing. I mean, if I zoom this in so you can sort of see a bit more of the detail.
Wow.
The Topaz denoise is just frightening when you think that's 800 ISO there.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's frightening.
Wow.
It's an amazing piece of kit, especially for wildlife. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's relative as well, isn't it? You're at 600 mil, so people say, 6.3, and they sort of scoff at it, but you're at 600 mil, so 6.3 is at 600 mil is probably equivalent to, I don't know the maths, but say maybe 70 mil at f4 or something. I don't know the maths, but it's still you still get a nice shallow depth of field,
that background behind the bird in reality is probably no more than a meter.
Yeah,
It's no more than a meter behind that bird.
Okay, yeah.
And
And it's still completely rendered.
Yeah, but you got to think I'm shooting that bird. That bird's probably 4 meters away from me, probably.
Okay.
And then another meter behind, and because I'm shooting it so close at such a high, long focal length, it just blurs out everything.
What is the light up there?
That's literally just some sunlight that was coming in off of these. These are sort of decking. It's basically like a box, and that's some light that was just coming in and hitting that box. Might have been enhanced. I can't confirm or deny.
Yeah.
Can't confirm.
No, I
or
like the
deny that.
gradient of light to.
Yeah. So
It's
there you
very
go.
nice.
That's
Lovely.
it. That's my
Lovely.
my
mate.
image.
Right, James.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Jamie's got about 50 he could show us, hasn't he? Your form this
Well,
year.
I've pushed the boundaries a little bit as I normally do, and I've got 3 actually, but I'll swiftly go through them because I know they're all against
It's
time.
lovely. That's a
And
phone
there's-
shot. I remember that.
And there's a reason for each one actually, and that's why I'm going to go through them quickly. But
Have you
this is a
ranked, you ranked them by Twitter like?
No, well, there is one that's been well liked actually. Surprise, surprise, that's one's included. But this is a phone shot. Yeah, this is an iPhone shot, and this was literally on the start of my snowy walk on on a day that was a little bit of a different day. I started off with feeling pretty low and pretty dismal, and I think it was one of the vlogs I recorded, and then the snow came down and this started. And this particular shot, two reasons I like it. One, because it's an iPhone shot, and I actually just really like the fact that it worked on an iPhone. It gave me a composition. It gave me everything that I really wanted, and I got it from an iPhone. But this particular tree, the Scots pine, I'd never ever seen it before, and this is on a river literally that I walk quite a lot, and I'd never seen this Scots pine before. And I think because the snow was coming down, it just made the tree, all of a sudden pop out, the darkness of the trunk, and obviously the snow on the leaves. And yeah, it's not, this particular tree coming in from the left and from the right hand side is a bit messy, and I did not compose this shot. I literally was walking along a riverbank and literally just grabbed it quickly. But
you should have said that, because it looks perfectly composed.
Well, no, but I'll just be honest, I didn't because I was literally walking along a riverbank and saw this tree, and I thought, shit, I haven't seen that tree before. I'm going to grab a shot, and I took it, and it came out quite well. So yeah, quite happy with that one. So that was my first one. Second one is this one, clearly, that has done quite well on social media. This tree is literally 50, 60 yards from my front door. And I've watched different conditions with this tree a lot, because there's a dense section of trees behind it, so it's got a nice background to it. So it will always pop out against that background. And I've taken it in different conditions when the light is hitting it, just to see what it looks like. But this particular morning, when there was really heavy snow, as you can see, it just worked so well, because there was enough light just to light the branches of the tree itself, but just the snow coming down and the heaviness. It was a real blizzard.
I am curious to know the shutter speed on this one.
Oh God. This was on my main camera, and I think it was. Oh no, I'm going to guess, Owen. I'm really going to guess. It wasn't fast. It was probably only about a 60th of a second, something like that.
It was that heavy that it.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a quick shutter speed. No, and again, I wasn't really set up to compose this shot. It was literally just sort of walking across the field, and I thought, right, here's my time to grab the shot of this tree. It's never going to get in better conditions than this, so I grabbed it.
Those big snowflakes make it.
Yeah, and I quite like these two here, really. Just the way they're positioned, and then you've got sort of a slightly larger one there, and I thought that quite worked, because I literally fired off about 20 shots, and there was obviously dots of snow all over the place, and some of them didn't work, and some of them did work. So I thought this one quite worked. So yeah, that's that one. And my final one is this one, which was on that same day as the first shot. And this particular shot has just got a little bit more of a special meaning to me, because it was a day that I was feeling quite low. I just lost my aunt the week before, and I was out and I was feeling low, and all of a sudden I turned around, I saw the sky, and I saw the light, and I saw this tree, and I thought, there's a shot here using these clouds, because the clouds were just amazing to see, and the light coming through. And this was the incoming snowstorm that created the first shot. And I just really like the shot, and I think it works for me because of the emotional connection I've got with the shot. But I think from a composition perspective, I quite like the fact you've got the tree that's pointing up towards the top right hand corner. The clouds are going in the same direction
of the tree, aren't they?
Yeah, and that little bit of light in the middle, sort of heavenly light in the middle, I just thought really worked. So yeah,
it's an interesting viewpoint as well. It's like
looking up.
It looks like it's shot with like a super wide angle lens, and it just looks a different. Like, you would expect to see that tree flatter and in your face, and with the trunk and the roots.
Yeah,
and it just kind of really works that you're looking up at it almost like an ant's eye view sort of the tree, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I did get quite close to it and looked up, and it probably is quite a wide shot. I can't remember, I'm not going to be settings, but it is quite a wide shot. Yeah, but I wanted to get that upward look to it.
I love the processing as well.
Yeah. No, I've done a little bit of work on this, and that colour was intentional, because I just felt it
sepia
worked.
feel to that, isn't it?
Yeah, I just felt it really worked.
I can't believe your first one isn't composed. I was looking at it thinking it was just immaculate.
It was. No, totally genuine. It was literally a grab shot, and it was one of those lucky
snapshot.
shots. Yeah.
A good snapshot.
That's what it is. He's just that good.
Give over.
It reminded me of like something Mark Littlejohn would take. That first one.
Yeah, no, it was. I think actually, did I use one of? I might have even used one of Mark's presets on it to process it, or was inspired by one of Mark's presets to process it.
It's stunning. I got real photo envy of this one. And I mean, they're all great, but I just love this one.
Do you know what makes it worse, Owen?
is...
Do you know what makes it worse?
What?
He didn't even look. He just shot from the hip. He just picked it out when I bang, and he's that good. He just nailed it. Unbelievable.
Right, I'm going to stop now.
Yeah, lovely.
Nice.
Lovely stuff. You've been on form this year, mate. You really have.
Well, not bad to get 3. I was happy with in the first couple of months, really. Yeah.
What you got then, James? Last but not least.
All set in my local area. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So this is the whole point. So this lone tree. I thought I don't want to just take a normal lone tree. How boring that's all. I thought I'd be a bit creative. A nice frosty cold morning, and I searched high and low. Lots of takes on this one. I just found this worked because how the blades of grass are directed towards the tree, and obviously it's a close-up shot focusing on the grass itself, which then throws a background. So the thing is, it's subtle. You know it's out of focus, but you still know what's in the background. I had to get low enough that so there's still a bit of separation as well between the bottom branches and the lower bushes. So you thought it'd be shot at quite a wide aperture, but as you can see there, it's f/13, that is. f/13, 76mm, but really close. I just think it's a different... I'd like experimenting with shallow depth of field. I'm not a fan of focus stacking. I just thought it's an artistic take on something. So, yeah.
Well, you know, James, that I'm a massive fan of your photography. But I have to say, I'm struggling with this image. It makes my eyes go funny. I think because there's only a very small section of this image that's actually in focus and the rest of it is intentionally out of focus. My eye is constantly drawn to that tree and it makes me want to reach for my glasses.
So you thought if I'd gone down a bit lower with more of the grass blades in focus,
yeah, because but that's just me kind of personally, and it's very rare, hardly ever that I even.
It's just something complete, something different.
Yeah,
I see Darren's point. My eye is drawn to the tree. It's strange.
It brings it back down, though. For me, it brings your eye back down.
I like though how you've got you've shaped how you've positioned the grass. So I think that's tidy. How you've how the grass that is in focus. I think you've composed that tidily, like with the longest bit. Yeah. I think how you've composed it together is very neat. But I know, now Darren says it. Maybe. Do you want my eye at the grass or do you want my eye at the tree?
I just want your eye to look around the whole image. To be honest.
Yeah.
It's all journey for me. Second image, and this is a recent finding. This is one of my local woodlands I've recently stumbled on. It's got this lovely S-bend here, that stream running through the scene. Nice dustiness, snow, and it's a place for me that I'm going to explore. I just want to make sure. I wanted to make sure as well that the separation on these branches and the trees here. So you notice you've got equal space between all three of them. Ideally, I would want a heavier dusting of snow.
Yeah.
Just to clean up that foreground.
Just a clean round a bit, black and white version. So yeah, it's been basically a year of woodland photography, but I'm really pleased that I've found this location to go back on.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, really nice.
Going back to the first one, I probably got a bit of a different view, but I really like it.
Yeah, it's a lovely photo.
I just
it's one of those that makes you think.
I appreciate that. I get what Darren's saying, but I just think it takes it away from the. If you just shot that at focus stacked it all over and got everything in focus, it wouldn't be anything. It'd just be a shot of a tree with a lot of grass.
See, I would
just
happily
like
hang
it.
that. I'd hang that and look at it all day long.
Yeah, I like it as well.
That long blade of grass makes it there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
If that
definitely
wasn't
does.
there, then it would.
Yeah.
It'd be struggling.
Yeah,
it'd
you
be
would.
struggling.
Yeah.
Mum. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
connects it to
Yeah,
the
it does,
tree, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go.
So with that, I think that's all we've got time for. That was very in depth. Thank you so much, Owen, for coming on. He's like the most intellectual person we've ever had on here.
I hope I didn't talk too much. I'm sorry. It's
No,
it's
not at all.
No.
It's
Not
the
at all.
booze, isn't it? I
It made
drank
us look
quite
all a bit. It made us look like Luddites a little bit. So, but other than that, it's great.
Been a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much.
Thank you.
We'll put, obviously, I mean, everyone knows who Owen is anyway, but we'll put the link down in the description to his channel and a few bits and pieces if you want to see him. But yeah, we've run out of time. That's 2 hours of chatting and it's just flown by. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with another guest. And until then, we'll say goodbye. Goodbye.
See you guys. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.